Alright, so last video I talked about not being ready to start a business. And I definitely think there's a time to try and do it. And I think there's a time to pause. I have paused my business startup journey. I paused it about a year ago, and that was a very, very good decision for me. Since then, I have picked up um, a lot of loose threads in my life. I have ended a relationship that was not very good for me. A relationship of 5 years. It was extremely difficult for me to do that. I have changed my job, found a new job, started a new job 3 months ago. I quit my old job about 6 months ago. I've been cleaning out a lot of different areas in my life, decluttering. It's a smaller thing, but I've always been a bit of a hoarder, and um, I really like the past, actually past several years, but I've really tried to declutter my life from stuff. Um, just in general, getting more structure, um, organizing my days, using my calendar to plan everything, remind myself of things, um, making sure to have food in the fridge, being stable with my finances, money, whatever, um, not impulsively buying shit all the time. Like, I've really spent a lot of time and energy to learn not to spend money on shit all the time, which means that I actually have a savings now, which means that I can probably buy a car soon. And that's really nice. So really, like, dialed back and just tried to become stable. And that has been really difficult for me. And I do not think I could have continued my process of uh, launching a business or developing the business before these things were in order. And I think that's really important, um, that these things are in order before you continue to try and build something new. Um, yeah, I think that is really important to take into consideration. And now the question is for me, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? And like, with these videos I'm doing now, um, I'm not really planning what to do in them. So there might be some of these videos where I'm just not really, maybe I'm just going off topic, or maybe I am not being very coherent. I think this is going to be one of those videos. So maybe not the most structured one. I've also not done a lot of videos, so there's not that many to pick from. And the others are not very structured either. But once more videos will be on this channel, it will make sense, hopefully, one day. But definitely, most important thing for me has been to try and build that foundation to begin with, and to figure out, like, that's the process I'm in now, is figuring out where I want to go with it, which direction I want to go in with the business. um, I think that's also been part of the reason why I've been held back, because there are just some basic business basics, I would say, that just really makes sense to understand before you go into the journey of trying to launch a business. Understanding what kind of businesses there it's possible to launch, understanding that there are good types of businesses and bad types of businesses. I'm trying to educate myself by reading books, and listening to podcasts, listening to YouTube videos, from people who know stuff about this stuff. And I think there is some groundwork that uh, is very, very advantageous to do before like really diving into the thing of just doing something. I'm reading Millionaire Fastlane right now. Um, I'm not reading it, I'm listening to it. But anyways, in this book, the author is talking a lot about like types of businesses that you can start, and he's working out from a framework. And this framework is called SENSE. It stands for control, entry, need, time, and scale. And these things are really valuable knowledge. And SENSE, the framework, it describes how you can start a business that actually is able to scale, and you can detach from your time, which means that you're not creating a prison for yourself. You're not starting a business where this business is just going to be a job in disguise, where you basically are going to do everything. And this is going to rather be a business where, as time goes on and as you're growing this business, it becomes an entity of its own. And over time, with systems, because that's the key point of it, you're building systems. You want to build systems. Um, and these systems will then eventually take over your role of actually running the company. Of course, there's a lot of hard work that needs to be done up front, and but the way that you go about it is just so important. He's also talking about, like, he uses a metaphor of a car in the whole book to like describe all of these things. I think it's great. And he's describing also that you need to pick the right road when you start. But in order to pick the right road, you need to know how to read the map. And if you don't know how to read a map, you will have no prerequisites to actually picking the right road. You won't have the knowledge to judge whether this direction or that direction is the best way to go about it. Which is also part of the kind of getting ready to start a business part. And it really makes sense when you think about it, that like, why wouldn't you learn about it beforehand? It's just makes sense, like just reading some books on it. And there's so many good books and so much good content available for it. Um, and this is where I'm at right now. Is I feel I have a lot of knowledge. I feel I have um, a lot of information, and I'm trying to condense this information down to a level where I can apply it. Um, I'm trying to make a lot of frameworks for myself, and structured frameworks where I can try and work through how, for example, to generate a good business idea, and how to make sure that that business idea actually um, is has the potential to become a scalable business that follows the SENSE framework, the control, entry, need, time, and scale. So what's really interesting with this framework is that it describes the different parameters of a business that needs to be present in order for this business to actually have the potential to become bigger and bigger over time. So the first one, C, control. Control means that you actually own everything in the company. An example, for example, I worked as a physiotherapist, as a self-employed physiotherapist, and I was in another um, uh, clinic, there was a chiropractic clinic, and I was basically paying rent for being there, and I had no control of anything. That was like a job in disguise. Back then, I was like, man, this is so cool. I'm self-employed. I am in control of my own time. I earn more money that I would do than if I had a normal job. But I very quickly realized that, first of all, that was not true at all. I did not control my hours. I had to report in all the time if I wanted to change anything. I had to be there on certain times and leave at certain times. I did not have any influence on my customer flow. That was the clinic entirely, and they also prioritized what kind of clients I would get. There was just so many things that were really, really bad. Sure, I had a like a company registered uh, publicly, or like officially, but it was not a business. It is not That is not a business. That is a job in disguise, which means there was no control. And control means that you own everything. So if my business at that time would have to fulfill the requirement of control, I should have been the owner of the clinic. The owner of that clinic had full control. He controlled everything. He owned the property. He owned the customer channel. He owned like the customer flow. He owned the web page. So the clinic owner had full control of that company. And there are different types of businesses where you have more or less control. Ideally, you want to strive to have maximum control, that you control every asset in that business. Then you have E, which is entry. Entry is how easy it is to enter into this kind of niche or market that you are trying to start your business within. And an example of something that has very low entry would be YouTube, for example. Everyone can start a YouTube channel. I started a YouTube channel now, and it's very easy to do. And if there's low entry demand, there is high competition. And if there's high competition, it's more difficult to get a breakthrough. So you want to enter a market. It's not because it's impossible to enter a market with low entry. Like starting a YouTube channel can over time be lucrative, but there is a lot of competition, and it will probably take a very long time unless you have some ability to really differentiate yourself. But you have to really differentiate yourself a lot, because there is a lot of other people to differentiate yourself from. So you want to enter a market where it's difficult to enter. And that could, for example, be if you have a special education of some sort that requires higher skill demand, if you have unique knowledge, if you are entering, it could also simply just be that you're entering into a market where a lot of people simply just don't want to work. If you're cleaning trash, if you're cleaning sewers, if you're uh, doing some kind of other thing that a lot of people do not want to do. And it, it can also, as I said before, be something where your knowledge is very specialized. If everyone can enter, there is a low point of entry for this market, which means that demand will be very high. So you want to find something where entry at least requires some sort of difficulty or some sort of unique angle. Um, Making a account on eBay and trying to sell shit there has very low entry and is very difficult to do. So you want to find something where entry is more difficult. All right, the next one, need. So this one is arguably the most important one. You want to do something where there is actually a demand for it. There is a need for what you're trying to create. Um, they talk about this so much in all like books and things and content I've listened to so far. It's like the number one thing that I understand is like the key is there needs to be a need for what the thing that you're trying to do. Um, if nobody wants it, like you can create something and you can think it's the coolest thing in the whole world, but if nobody wants it, there is no point of it. You cannot run a business on something that nobody wants. There needs to be an actual need for it. And the bigger the need, the better the company will be, the better the idea is. So Maybe you really enjoy making, I don't know, uh, maybe you really enjoy making, like, knitting something. You really enjoy knitting something. I don't know what it could be. Flowers. I mean, knitting flowers are nice, but let's just say for the sake of it, right? And you make 100 of these flowers, and they're very unique flowers, and you've been spending so much time knitting them, and you're really like, oh, this is amazing. Maybe your mom told you it's amazing, um, and you try to sell it, but you haven't actually asked anyone at any point if they want it, and to your realization, nobody wants it, and now you spend all of this time knitting all of these uh, cute little flowers. This was this was the best example I could come up with. Did you get the point? You want to find something there's actually a need for, which is why before you actually go about spending a lot of time or money or resources into starting the business and like trying to make the product, especially like the part of making the product, you want to have validation. You want to have validation of the need by actually just going out and asking people about it. And it sounds so simple, but this is like, first of all, I'm still stuck at the stage of trying to figure out what it is I want to launch. I think I'm getting closer to it, and I'm gonna make a video about that very soon. Um, yeah, but I'm like still just stuck at this area. I have a lot of ideas, but I'm like, I don't know how to select the idea. I guess it's like analysis paralysis kind of thing. And I'm trying to apply the knowledge that I'm talking about right now, setting up some criteria for it to figure out which of these options would be the best, which road would be the best one to pick and go down. But there's also with this need um, requirement, there is an element of like you need to test it. You need to ask people. You need to ask your potential customers, like, is this something you want? Do you want this thing? And how do you want it? Which color do you want it in? What would you like that it should do for you? And based on that information, you're going to like make your product. So making a product of any kind and going with an idea of any kind before having confirmation that there's actually a need for it is a really bad idea. You want to make sure that there's a need, and you want to test the market for that need by asking your potential customers, which means that you need to know who your customers are, which is another topic. All right, so that is CEN, control, entry, need. Then we have T. T is time. So time, with the time aspect, you want to start a business where you can detach your income from your time. You want to start a business where if you go away for an extended period of time, uh, the company will not stop working. And again, I can use my first business as an example. Um, when I was working as a physiotherapist, as a self-employed physiotherapist, if I went on vacation, my business would shut down. There would not be any income from that business. There is only income when I am actively serving customers, when I am actually taking in clients, which means my time and my income is proportionally tied to each other, one to one. I can increase my intrinsic value, which means that I will become a better physical therapist by increasing my skill level and marketing myself as a better physiotherapist, thereby being able to raise my hourly rate. Um, I could take, I could have like group clients and thereby also increase like my yield on my time, but my income is still proportionally tied to the time that I put in. Once I stop working, there is no more income. And this is really bad. You don't want this in a business. You want it to be able to detach from your time. You want the business to be able to work even though you are not there. And you want this because over time, uh, your goal is not to work more and more and more and more. This is how you put yourself in a trap. This is how you create a job in disguise. This is how you become an employee in your own company without having the benefits of being an employee. Uh, if you're sick, you don't get paid. When you're on vacation, you don't get paid. Um, you pay your own pension, you pay your own insurance, all of these things. And you do not want that. Instead, time uh, time is something you want to detach from your income. And the way you detach time from your income, the way you detach your income from time is by creating systems. As the entrepreneur, you are the organizing force. You are not the labor. You are not the person doing the job. Maybe you are in the beginning. Over time, ideally, if you want to create what is in the book, Millionaire Fastlane, if you want to create a Fastlane business, you want to create something that you can detach yourself from more and more and more over time, which means you want to create systems. You want to create things, systems that can continue working even though you are not there. And there are different examples of types of businesses and systems that you can create, and it's ranked based on the the how you say, um, the quality, I guess, of it. So one is an internet business. If you have an internet-based business, let's say you have a web page that provides a specific service, and that service is online 24/7. This is running uh, all the time without your presence. Then you have um, human resource systems. And a human resource system is where you have employees. This is more demanding because humans are demanding and need stuff. And most often, computers are less demanding in by the fact that they do not need stuff like humans. Yes. So there are other examples also of types of systems that you can utilize. But the essential part of the time aspect is that you want to create something that detaches itself from you. You want to be the facilitator of the business. You want to be the organizing force. The entrepreneur is the organizing force. A quote by Daniel Priestley, who is a great guy and says a lot of very smart stuff about entrepreneurial stuff. The last one is scale. And scale also ties very closely to time. Scale means that you can scale your business over time. It means that your business can grow exponentially over time. It means that your business has the ability to multiply more and more and more. So if you are selling software products, you have you have unlimited scale, because a software product is just a copy of a code that you can sell on repeat non-stop. There is no limit to how much you can sell. And this is what you want from a business that has the potential to grow and make you a lot of money, is you want to create something that has the ability to scale. So if I tie it back to what I did in the beginning again, as a physical therapist, being a physical therapist, doing manual therapy, or like, let's say that you're a massage therapist, uh, you cannot scale that. I have two hands. That is it. And uh, these two hands can serve one person at a time. Um, that's the opposite of scalable. That is non-scalable, which means the only way to increase my revenue is by increasing my price. I cannot sell multiple copies of it. Now, how could you make a physical therapist clinic scalable? Well, first of all, you could hire more employees. This is utilizing human resource systems, right? So that would mean that you could have, I don't know, 10 physical therapists hired in the clinic, and they would do the work for you. That's a small scale, very small scale. What else could you do with that business? You could franchise it. You could make multiple clinics under the same name. Now each clinic has 10, 15, 20 physical therapists hired there, and they would do the job. And if you have 5 clinics, you have 100 physical therapists working. Now you created more scale. And you maybe also see the difference here between like creating software that you can like just copy and go, and then this type of scaling, which is literally like building multiple clinics from the bottom up and hiring employees, and it's difficult. That is really difficult. Whereas creating something like a program with code, much easier. And this is something that you need to take into consideration, and also the things that I'm trying to reflect on right now myself, because when I came straight out of university and I got my degree in physical therapy, naturally for me it was thinking, oh, I can start my own business as a physical therapist, which I did, and found out that it kind of sucked. And then I was like, oh, okay, but then I need to find customers who will pay me more so I can do physical therapy for businesses. And I didn't do that because, well, it sucked. And I found out that, first of all, I didn't want to do that. And secondly, like I found out that it's not scalable. It's not possible to detach myself from it. And so there are different levels of scale. You have small scale locally, then you have national, you have global. And obviously, the more you are able to scale up, uh, the bigger market you can approach, the more scale you have, which means the more you are able to sell. So an example of a very scalable product could be a book. If you write a book, you have a product that's detached from your time, and that's scalable, which means it will be sold potentially 24/7 in shops or online, ebooks, and it can be sold an unlimited amount of time. And you are selling to the whole world. Your book can be sold to anyone in any country who has the interest in the topic that your book is tailored to. So book software business is examples of products that scale very well. So that's the sense framework. This unintentionally became a video about the sense framework. I will probably do a more structured video on it at some point. I'm also doing this for myself. Just saying shit out loud is a good way to learn. And I think at some point I will definitely do a structured video on this, because the sense framework is really good. And if you have any kind of idea that you're trying to figure out whether this has potential to become something bigger, run it through the sense framework from MJ DeMarco's book, Millionaire Fastlane, and see if it fulfills the 5 commandments of the Fastlane, which is the sense framework. Yes. All right. I think that is going to be the video for today. I planned for this video to be 5 minutes, and it turned into a rant, like it does. Apparently. I guess that's a thing now. I mean, it's my 3rd video, so it can't really be a thing now. Is it a thing? Is it a thing is it 3 times? Is that a thing if you repeat something 3 times? Is that a rule? If you repeat something 3 times, it's a thing. I don't know if that's a rule. But I can probably tell you that it's going to be a thing, because I rant a lot. All right. That's it for now. Bye.